Hi, What's Working Wednesday? I'm Cheryl Andrews. I'm the founder of Step by Step Listening, and I'm also known as a Strength and Solution Detective. And what I do is I help you get clarity of what you want so that you can do more of what you love and ditch the critic that says you can't. Now, the reality is that for many of my clients, the minute they know what they want, so I ask them the question, what would you like to have happen? They say their answer. I ask a few more questions like, what kind of is that? Is there anything else about that? Does it have a shape or size? Where is it? And when you get that, then what happens? You know, when they really drill down into the detail of what it is they want, once they realise just how much they want it and they really are clear what they want and the decision is made and they have confidence in that decision, invariably I'd say 80% of the clients go out there and make it happen. And then there are some that over the years when I work with them is I would find probably say 15% of them then didn't make it happen because what they didn't understand about themselves is how they needed to be and what kind of resources or support they needed around them in order for them to make that happen. So let me think of an example. What I'd like to have happen is to finish writing my book in February. And I absolutely know that. I spent the weekend on the writing and planning retreat with Karen and other authors, and when we were tuning into the plan, the structure, I was kind of imagining what it's going to feel like to have that manuscript printed off and handing it to someone and getting someone to read it. And I was like, yes, that's what I want. I had no doubt about it at all. And then I've come home and the reality is that my best friend's mum died. And so, you know, I wanted to be available for her. I had another friend who has been in hospital and I want to be there for her. My sister and I have been, you know, we're chatting. My son needed me to give him a lift. Mark's not been very well. And there's all this stuff comes up that I didn't kind of anticipate. And so what I didn't know or didn't really give any thought to, I didn't have clarity about, was how do I need to be when other people need me at the same time that I had scheduled and planned writing. And that all comes down to your decision-making process and it's about prioritizing. And so, and also just checking with the other people, not assuming straight away that you have to change everything you do, because sometimes people talk to you about their problem and they don't actually need you to do anything other than just listen for a minute, whereas you might just immediately go into solving, you know, action mode and go, well, I'll be there in a minute, I'll do that, which is exactly what I did. You know, my friend phoned me about a mum and I went, well, I'll be there in a minute, and I immediately cancelled what I was doing with the boys. I said, well, I'm going out, I'm going to go and speak, I want to be available for her. And then actually I called her to say, I'm in the car, I'm going, and actually she was like, actually I could really do with being on my own for a minute. And so sometimes the thing I'd say to you about that stops you from taking action is you make too many assumptions about what other people need from you. Now that's 15%. So the first thing to do is think, how do you need to be? Really think about where you want to be. And then how do you need to be when other people ask you to do things? Is being clear about how you're going to say, you know, you can't do it. Now my friend who'd come out of hospital, I've already got a date in the diary to see her next Monday. And I really wanted to be there. And if she felt she needed me and that she needed my support, I would have dropped everything. The book isn't as important. And I will say that to my friends and my family, you know, work and this book are not as important as you are. So if you really need me to be available, I will be available. But what I really like to have happen is to support you and write my book. How can we do that? So sometimes it's about putting the responsibility out and sharing it with the other person instead of making all the decisions on your own in your head, making the assumption that you have to do this stuff for them. So I said to my friend, you know, you know, if you need me, I'll be there, and I really want to write my book. You know, what would you like to have happen? And she's no, absolutely, it's okay, no problem. I'll see you on Monday. And in the past, I might have felt guilty because I was letting people down, but I absolutely needed to get on and do that stuff. So I want to just check with you. And then the other 5% is people who they want two things at the same time. So a good example was for me last night. Mark normally goes mountain biking on a Tuesday night, but he's got a bad chest, so he didn't go go cycling. And so my original plan in my head was he wasn't going to be around, and so I'd get on and write in the evenings. Once we'd had dinner, I would go back and I'd be able to write from 7 till 9. But because he came home, and then Liam had some challenges with a video thing he was doing, and he was talking to us about it. Before I knew it, I'd kind of got back into the old groove of what an evening routine normally looks like. Because Mark was there, my head went on autopilot, and I started behaving like I would have done on another night when we're all together. And I completely forgot to do the writing. I didn't do it. I got consumed with everything else. So I think it's about recognizing your brain will go into autopilot of old behavior if you don't have structures in place to remind yourself that that's what you want to do, and you haven't told the people around you that you need their help and support to change your behavior. So what I've had to do now is sort of put it into place with Mark and Liam, and sort of verbalise that I really want to get this writing done. And if you find me helping you at a time when I said I was going to be writing originally, can you just check in with me whether or not I've consciously made that decision to change direction, and actually it's the right thing not to be writing, or whether I've just been pulled back into on autopilot. And so I'm asking them to keep a track on that, because I really want to hit this deadline. So I hope that's useful. And so in summary, what the questions are is be clear what you want, get clarity. What would you like to have happen? Write down what you want and ask yourself lots of questions about it to make really clear what it would feel like, and that you make sure that's the decision you really want. Then think about how do you need to be. So understanding how you need, what time, planning out, what time of day, how much time are you going to need, how do you need to be, what kind of resources support do you need to make that happen. And if you're going to have to change a behaviour, and it's going to, a behaviour with other people, ask them to help you with that change of behaviour. Let them know that you really, and make sure you know that they're included in the solution, that you want to be there to support them, you want to be there for that relationship to work, and you want to get whatever it is you want to get done. In my case, it's writing. Yours might be blogging, it might be sales copy, it might be time with your clients, it might be planning time, thinking time, it might be whatever you need to make your business work. The likelihood is you may have to change your behaviours with people around. And so it's finding little ways of asking them to help you keep on track. So it's not always down to you to be able to make those joint decisions, those new changes. It's asking for the support. Now, if you are struggling with any part of that, part 1, 2 or 3, please leave a message down below. Tell me what it is you're struggling, what's your challenge, and I'll ask you some questions and I'll share some resources that could help you to make that happen. Thanks for listening again Wednesday, What's Working Wednesday. I'll see you next week.